"We'll keep in touch, Addie," Morgan Ross said, already seated again, head down and shuffling papers. Addie and Steve travelled down together in the lift to their IT level in silence. Clamping down on her contempt, she resisted asking how much he was being paid to keep quiet. He was known for keeping his eye on the top rung of the Carlton Ross ladder and taking any opportunity to slide into the boss's favour. Scowling, she wondered exactly what this company was hiding and why. Whatever the cover-up, Steve was implicated up to his neck. When the elevator doors slid open, Addie ignored her boss, strode toward her area, shut down her computer station, grabbed her shoulder bag and denim jacket to head out. "Where are you off to?" James asked, eyebrows raised, her closest friend and most trusted ally in this workplace. "Just leaving early for the weekend." Good thing it was Friday and she could use the excuse. "Farm?" She nodded, managed a weak smile and brief wave, and bolted. They would find out on Monday morning that she wasn't coming back, apparently not any time soon. Addie hadn't left in a rush because she was humiliated or afraid, but because the matter was urgent and timing vital. Riding the lift down to street level, Addie fumed. The Carlton Ross Company might not take this breach seriously and with any sense of purpose in favour of their opposition competitor, but she did. Already her active brain was churning over how she could achieve that on her parents' Wimmera farm, 300 kilometres from her office computer, without company access. Whoever followed up her discovery needed to investigate now. Every second counted. As soon as Addie revealed the problem, Morgan Ross himself should have been on the phone to Chandler Digital, the exposed company, warn their opposition not only about the potential security leak and threat it imposed, but alert them to the obvious weakness in their system. Everyone knew how vulnerable that left them to exploitation of sensitive information, all too embarrassing for Ross, but Addie was convinced that alone was not the reason for the cover-up. Her mind was distracted as the lift doors slid open and she joined the crush of fellow workers leaving the building early. While it was their chance to voluntarily escape for the weekend and she would never refuse a visit home to the Wimmera, she herself had been firmly pushed. The mild early autumn breeze whipped down Collins Street between skyscraper towers. Car horns echoed. Trams clanged their way, ferrying people to other connections or suburbs. God, she hated the city, but this was where her career prospects lay. There wasn't much call in small rural towns for an IT security specialist. Addie had been lured by a generous 6-figure salary, allowing her the luxury of a scarily high but affordable inner-city rental. With virtually no social life and making use of cheap public transport, it kept her savings plan alive to achieve her dream, setting up and remotely running her own IT security business from some as-yet unknown location in the country, far away from urban noise and exposure. But first, she needed to establish her name and reputation while making valuable industry connections. All of which was now in jeopardy. All those hours of work and years of loyalty for nothing. Heading back to square one loomed large and seemed a definite possibility. But the significant job had enabled her to buy the desirable classic E.H. Holden back home from their elderly neighbour, Bill Schaefer. Fondly named Gertie, it had sat in tantalising safety under canvas in one of his sheds for decades. Her brother Nick restored the classic vehicle and reconditioned the motor until it hummed. Addie parked it in her barely adequate shoebox of a garage space that went with her Fitzroy Terrace rental. The old gem only saw the light of day every other weekend when she returned to the farm. Her escape and breathing space from the loneliness and isolation of family, back to her roots and reality. Her employer company, Carlton Ross, had chosen the